Council of Monday, April 7th, 2025 shall come to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Motion to approve the agenda, please.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Dana, seconded by Mark, that we approve the agenda. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Need approval of the consent agenda and includes the following. Approval of City Council meeting minutes of March 17th, 2025. It's a regular meeting, and the special meeting on April 3rd of 2025. B, approval of the bills and claims, of which you have a copy. C, approval of encroachment agreement with Lake Pin and Play. D, approval of purchase of playground equipment for the outdoor recreation complex in the amount of $132,069 from Play Pro Recreation of Clive, Iowa. E, licenses and permits following: liquor license, Class C retail alcohol license, that's Rumors and a renewal. Excavator license, McInnes Excavating and Mayor's Digging, those are renewals. Tree trimmers license, Malix Lawn and Tree Service, that's a renewal. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Beth Ann, seconded by Mark, that we approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Now is the time and place for any citizen in the audience who wishes to address the council on any issue or concern that is not on the agenda. Please approach the podium, state your name first and last, and give your address so the clerk may properly enter it in the minutes. This is not a discussion time, nor a question and answer time, and you have 3 to 5 minutes. None appearing, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Moved by Dana, seconded by Beth Ann, that we close the public hearing. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. There is unfinished business. It's A, 5A. We have ordinance amending zoning dimensional requirements. Therefore, I need a motion. This is the second reading. Motion to approve ordinance number 890, and ordinance amending 2 official zoning dimensional requirements within high-density, single-family residential zone, RS12, of the City of Clear Lake, Iowa, from a minimum lot area of 6,000 square feet to a minimum lot area of 5,000 square feet, and a minimum lot width of 60 feet to a minimum lot width of 50 feet. Motion, please, on the second reading of ordinance number 890.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Creighton, seconded by Dana, that we approve ordinance number 890 on the second reading. Is there any discussion? Roll call. Mark.
Yes.
Creighton.
Yes.
Beth Ann.
Yes.
Bennett.
No.
And Dana.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-1, and ordinance number 890 is approved on the second reading. 6, new business, Surf District Music Enrichment Center project update, review of change order number 6 by Jacob Woodman, acting city administrator. Welcome, Jacob.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. As you mentioned, tonight we'll be going through change order number 6 for the MEC, and also just a quick review of the project out there. So as we stand today with the project out there, the inside is really coming along nicely. We still have carpet and flooring to put on in the inside. Still some glass for the deck railing upstairs, canopies upstairs, kitchen equipment upstairs still, and then just a few changes down on the lower level to finish up. And then on the outside, we still obviously have the landscape and then the overlay on the parking lot out there to finish up. So as far as construction goes, coming along strongly. We're still looking at trying to have the main part of construction wrapped up by the end of April here so that we can turn stuff over to Trivium to do the immersive portion in May. So everything's looking pretty good on schedule right now. And so just excited to see that continuing to come along. Change order number 6 then is in your packet. It's the purple sheets there. And so these are some of the items that we didn't include in the original contract, but that we're getting to need here as we finish up the project. So item number A for change order number 6 is an ad for furniture, fixtures, and equipment of $85,907. Item number B for change order number 6 is printed wall graphics and signage installation, and that is in various parts of the MEC. And then item number C is for artifacts and museum displays. And that total on that is $85,783.64. All these above A, B, and C, DSC has a profit built into their contract on that, and that is $7,477.06. So the total for change order number 6 then is $194,403.56. And like I mentioned earlier, these were things that we were anticipating. We just didn't put them in the original contract so that we could kind of see how the spaces came together in the end, what we needed to provide. And I will say we've been working really closely with the North Iowa Cultural Center Board on what items were needed, and kind of came together on this list here. The original contract down at the bottom of the page there was for that just over $5 million. The additions to date, including this change order number 6, are $482,000. Deductions to date are $86,697. So the total contract revised to date is nearly $5.4 million. And I will say, I think there's a couple members of the North Iowa Cultural Center Board on the phone that may want to say a few words. I'm not sure if they jumped on or not yet, but they are, I know there's Mayor and Creighton and Matt, and then a couple of members of their board are going out to Boston. I think they're leaving here tonight or early tomorrow morning to do a walkthrough of the immersive portion as we get closer here, just to kind of see the product that they put together and make sure that that's on the same wavelength of what the city and the North Iowa Cultural Center Board's thinking. So with that, if Brian or Jeff have anything to say, if they're on, I'll kind of defer to them.
Brian, Jeff, are you on? Silence.
Okay, so they were not able to jump on then, so we'll leave it at that. If anybody has any questions, feel free to put them in.
And the change order, if I'm correct, is in the amount of $194,403.56?
That is correct.
Okay. Any other questions for Jacob? Thank you, Jacob.
Yep.
Therefore, I entertain a motion to approve change order number 6 with regard to the Surf District Music Enrichment Center project in the amount of $194,403.56. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Beth Ann, seconded by Mark, that we approve change order number 6. And that's to the Dean Snyder Construction Company. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same. Motion carries 5-0. 6B, fiscal year 25 amended and fiscal year 26 proposed municipal budget introduction and review of budget proposal by Jacob Woodman, Acting Center Administrator. Welcome again, Jacob.
Thank you again, Mayor and Council. So tonight we'll have another opportunity to go through the budget, and we'll be setting the hearing for the full budget for April 21st. Earlier tonight at 5 o'clock, we held the budget levy hearing, which was a completely separate meeting to go over the budget levy. And as mentioned in that hearing, we're proposing the budget levy to stick at $985 again this year. So that's the exact same as it was the last fiscal year. For fiscal year 25-26, We saw valuations continue to increase in citywide, but at a much slower pace, as I mentioned in that hearing. So total valuations in the city were $1,710,501,391. So very strong valuations here within the community. And when we factor in the rollback percentage, we saw a roughly 2.5% increase in taxable valuations here for the fiscal year 25-26 budget. As far as numbers go for the budget for fiscal year 25 for the amended, we're looking at 29.6 million in expenditures and 20.5 million for the FY26 budget and expenditures. For the 26 budget, we're looking at 12.7 million directed towards operation and maintenance, 6.3 million towards capital, and 1.4 million towards debt service. For general fund ending cash balance, we're looking at just over 7 million at the end of fiscal year 26, which would represent 64% of our general fund operating budget. Excuse me. The constitutional debt limit for the city is 85 million. Right now, we're projecting as of June 30th of 26, so the end of fiscal year 26, that will be at 8.7% of that debt limit, or roughly having 7.5 million outstanding. That's a super, super low debt capacity. It's not as low as we have been the last few years, but it's still very low for cities across the state of Iowa and across the country as well. And so just proud to be sticking at that low level. Means that we're giving more money back to the taxpayers, that we don't have to pay in interest on borrowing. And then I will say for our levy, we're continuing to be the fourth lowest in the state. And I had kind of gone into the valuations and what the bill might look like, but on a $200,000 valuation, you'd be looking at about a $31 increase for this proposed budget. Going over the notices a little bit then, they're on the green sheets in your packet. Just a couple things I want to highlight. So on the first green sheet there, for fiscal year 26 budget, we're looking at total revenues and other sources of revenue at $22,283,879. Total expenditures, we're looking at excluding transfers, $20,484,445, and then transfers of 1.5. So total excess revenues over expenditures of $240,000. So we're looking at budgeting in the positive for fiscal year 26. And another thing I did want to point out on the fiscal year 26 budget, if you go down to that all expenditures line, that $20,484,000, that is actually less than what our actual 24 figures were for expenses. For FY24, we had $20,575,000 in expenses. So just wanted to point that out, that we're really trying to be fiscally responsible here. And so when you're looking at having a budget that's actually lower than what we spent 2 years ago, definitely something that we've really looked at, not wanting to increase the levy and wanting to make sure that we're continuing to provide good services, but that we're also being fiscally responsible. Over on the back side of that page then is the notice of public hearing on the amendments. So I'll go over those a little bit quickly here too. So total revenues, we're looking at an amended budget of 28 million. Total expenditures of just 30.8 million. So the original certified budget showed excess revenues over expenses of 444,000. When you look at the amended budget, it's showing expenditures in excess of revenues of 2.7 million. So I will say it is kind of a big change on the amended budget. A lot of that has to do with timing though of projects. The biggest project that we have ongoing out there right now is the Surf District project. And so just kind of the timing of that one and how the revenue sources are coming in. Most of those expenses will be seen here in fiscal year 25, but maybe not some of the revenues here. And then also just for several other projects that we had ongoing as of June 30th of 24 here. We had anticipated them in last year's budget. We had the revenue received in last year's budget, but the actual expenditures didn't come in until fiscal year 25 here. So those revenues are sitting in our fund balance that got carried over. And so that's why it's showing a bigger negative, because the revenue came in last fiscal year, but the expenses hit in this fiscal year. So any questions on any of that?
Council, any questions for Mr. Widman?
No questions, but thank you, Jacob, for putting all this together for
You're
us. I
welcome.
appreciate that.
Yep.
Well done, Jacob.
Thanks.
Therefore, entertain a motion now to set the date for the public hearing on the fiscal year 25 amended and fiscal year 26 proposed municipal budget for April 15th at 5:30 p.m. right here in the council chambers on the fiscal year 25 amended and fiscal year 26 proposed municipal budget by Clear Lake City Council. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Dana, seconded by Creighton, that we approve the date setting of April 15th for fiscal year 25 amended and fiscal year 26 proposed budget. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. 6C, Lakeview Room and Band Shell Renovation Project. Project updated review of pay estimate number 11 by Matt Stedding, City Engineer. Welcome, Matt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. Boy, it's great to see every seat full up there tonight. I think I speak for everyone when I say welcome back, Beth Ann. You look great.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate that.
Yes. So, Lakeview Room, just going to give a little quick update here. The Lakeview Room has been pretty much completed to date. We have some back tiling to finish on the wall inside. The handicap chair ramp has been installed and that's functioning, so that'll be good amenity in there. And we got the family restroom that's been completed as well inside. We did add a refuse area outside for the trash that any of the renters can take, instead of, they always use our inside mechanical room before, so that will be nice to get that to move outside. And then we are going to be dealing with some lighting next week. We got a bunch of special lighting going on up there, so just for reference, we'll take Christmas by the Lake, 4th of July, activities like that. We'll be able to show a vast majority of different types of lighting going on in those events. So it's going to be a really cool addition to the band shell. On the exterior, almost everything's been complete out there. We have the HPS that's been completed on the ceiling. That was really one of the items that legged this project out as far as it did go, because it was supposed to be substantially completed last November. So we're hoping to get everything wrapped up here in the next month or so. The public restrooms have been completed. There's a few items that I need to go over on that yet with the contractors. And then we're hoping to do a punch list here towards hopefully the end of the month and get the ball rolling. So it should be ready to go this season. If anybody has any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer.
And we have access accessible to all now with that chairlift in the back, right?
That
to
is
the
correct,
stage.
Mr. Mayor.
That's a great addition.
Matt, there was some talk about a plaque. Is that still happening? Is that in the process?
Yes, we still need to do some fine tuning on that, but that is still in the process, yes.
Picture of that is on got tonight, our fiscal year 2026 budget on the front page, and that's a wonderful picture of that. I knew you had talent. And that's everybody, what stage is it? Ludwig Wanberg stage, and there'll be a plaque up there to acknowledge Mr. Wanberg. he would certainly appreciate what has been done to that. Any other questions, comments for Mr. Steady? Thank you very much. Thank you. Therefore, we'll entertain a motion to approve pay estimate number 11 in the amount of $20,960.80. Dean Snyder Construction with regard to Lakeview Room and Van Shell renovation project. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Beth Ann, seconded by Bennett, that we approve the pay estimate number 11 with regard to Lakeview Room Van Shell renovation project. Is there any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries 5-0. Welcome, Chief Colby, and your report, please.
Council. Three things for you to bring up. If you recall back, if you were sitting in the chairs there in 2018, we received a new computer-aided dispatch, our CAD system. That system continues to upgrade itself, and just 2 weeks ago, we did an upgrade there to where the system now imports text 911 messages from the 911 system into our CAD system. So as first responders are in the field, if dispatch receives a 911 text, then that information not just goes to dispatch, but also gets dumped into the CAD system there and on causal server, so the responders to see that information in real time in their mobile computers in their cars. So that's a new little technology nugget that we just received. They're still working some bugs out in the formatting of it. It kind of formats itself really weird right now, but they're working through that, and that technology is now on all of our patrol cars there. Secondly, y'all, I'm sure, are aware that we have our Governor's Traffic Safety Bureau grant that gives us some money every year to do some traffic enforcement, also pays for some training, and then we've also, through that grant, applied for some technology stuff through them. They've paid for some of our preliminary breath tests, our in-car cameras, other little things we've used. I bought a pair of Fatal Vision goggles that we got through our grant, paid for them, so it's a goggle you can put on and it simulates different levels of intoxication. So we got 2 of them through the grant, paid for. Those are the 0.07 to 0.10 breath alcohol content or blood alcohol content there. That kind of simulates that right at that legal limit there too. So after the meeting, if anybody's gutsy enough and want to try them on, it's supposed to simulate that level of intoxication if you want to. Third and last, I'm just gonna bring up Clear Lake Police Department for a long time has been a part of the Seniors and Law Enforcement Together coalition and forum. We call it the SALT team, and so we have our forum twice a year. The next one's coming up April 22nd at Grace Church in Mason City. So myself, the sheriff, and the chief of police from Mason City will all speak at that forum, and then we have several vendors that come in that are focused on the elderly in our community and how to give them services. And we have an educational type presentation we're doing about fraud and how many fraudsters are focusing on the elderly in our communities because they can be lonely at times, and they seem to be an easy target for them too. So we have that coming up on the 22nd at Grace Church. I'm inviting anybody that want to come and see the vendors. We'll feed you lunch and sit and listen to the presentations too. So we do it in April and October every year, and it's also going to be Earth Day, so we'll be doing that with about 150 of our seniors in the community that attend that each time too. So with about 20 vendors. So this April's presentation is going to be Mr. Ritter from Clear Lake Bank and Trust is coming to give a presentation on fraud and how they partner with law enforcement and how to protect oneself from being a victim of fraud. That's all I have for you, unless you guys have any questions on anything, and if anybody wants to try the goggles, they'll be there.
Have we replaced our dispatcher?
No, we had initial interviews last week. We're sorting through those, and we'll do some follow-up interviews, backgrounds, before we move on to the next conditional offer phase.
And then we'll be at max there for, what, 6?
And we have been for almost over a year, and
Right,
we just,
right.
Charlene
Right.
moved down to warmer weather. I talked to her, she's a block from the Gulf,
Yeah.
and so she's walking every day down the shore and enjoying the warmer weather too,
Yeah.
so I don't necessarily blame her, but yeah.
Yeah. That's great. Any other questions for Chief? Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Public Work Director's report? Nothing? Jeremy? No. No more snowstorms? I said the word.
Good.
Mr. Stedding?
Not tonight, we
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure. Under Mayor's report, as Mr. Widman said, there are several of us here tonight that will be joining the North Iowa Cultural Museum group and team in Boston for the next 2 days, and it's to look at the progress of the immersive room that will be implemented into the MEC Center, Music Experience Center, there within a month or two. And so we're to go out and look at the progress that they have made on it to date before its final completion. So it's going to be a quick trip out, quick trip back for us all, but anxious to see that particular progress. I hope I'm not stealing Mr. Keefe's. Just a minute now, just a minute. You and your pointing here. This past Friday was the 50th year of the Clear Lake Junior High fire. Not too many of you were around that time. You may have been a twinkle in your parents' eyes, but that was quite the day, and we had, I believe, total of about 300 students and teachers in there, and the 7th graders were eating lunch, and the 8th graders were in class, and I thought the school principal was off his rocker by pulling the fire alarm with the kids eating in the lunchroom, etc. But everyone got out of there, and that building literally burned to the ground, and it was an interesting time for the next couple of years. We didn't get back into what is presently today's middle school until December of 1977. And that followed with the auditorium shortly thereafter. In fact, the voters voted it down, the bondage, the first time because they thought we were building a pool, when in fact we were building the auditorium. And that's what they are now looking at with another auditorium coming, because they claim that that one is old. 50 years, I suppose it is old. Anyway, the fire department had an interesting time there. I believe they brought over Mason City, and the water pressure was very poor, very poor.
Plenty of pictures over the museum.
Yes, and you should do that. You should go and take a look at those. Quickly, Chad, do you have any?
Real quick, since we're actually making great time. But I gotta say, welcome back, Beth Ann,
Thank
also.
you,
It's great to
Chad.
see you. Great to see the rest of you as well. You're looking good. But no, thanks, Mayor, Council. Appreciate the few minutes here. Our board's continuing through the board strategic planning process. We had our board retreat here, what was it, a week or two ago? And just, it was a great day. Had great feedback from people, so appreciate anyone that was able to do our survey. Kind of the top issue that keeps coming back really is around population, which we've heard in every one of our sessions anywhere, right? But continues to be a big focus, so it really just reinforced our dedication to the workforce issue, housing, some of the key drivers that we can impact that issue on. So we'll continue to push hard on those. Over the next 2 months, we'll have 2 more sessions with the UNI team and be putting that together and hopefully rolling out the broad strokes of the plan at our annual meeting here June 18th, which will be over at the SURF. So I'll put a plug in for that quick. Should be getting a lot more materials on that here shortly as well. And we're also working with the SURF group on getting tours set up to take people through the MEC before and after that as well. So be a great opportunity to show off what's going on there. We know it won't be all the way done yet, but it'll be pretty close, and it'll be good to get people in there. So excited for that and teaming up with everyone over there. We also had our North Iowa Day on the Hill last week. Had folks from our organization, the chambers in Mason City and Clear Lake, tourism, Mason City High School, the college. Who else we have? There's about 20 of us down there. Leadership North Iowa had their class down there as well. Just a good opportunity. All of our legislators stopped by, got to talk to them on some of the key issues. Obviously property taxes, which we talked about tonight. Key driver, a lot of issues in that bill that we're keeping an eye on. How it's going to impact TIF, which is really our primary tool as a community, and how we can attract things. One of the things in there might limit the amount of tax abatement, the term to 10 years. If you remember going back to the McKesson project, getting to 15 years is really one of the things that put us over the hump. So just making sure that they're maintaining the flexibility we as a community have to drive those issues. So that's something that we think is going to be getting addressed, as well as some various other issues along those lines. IEDA incentives are also there's a bill that will totally change the incentive structure for economic development projects and other things. So we've had a lot of thoughts on that. Actually had a chance to meet with Debbie Durham last week with our Iowa Chamber Alliance group and indicate some of the concerns that we had with the bill, and she was able to work through a lot of those with us, and there's going to be an amended bill going forward pretty soon that should address a lot of those things, and I think ultimately will be a better package or program as far as state incentives go for project attraction. It's kind of gotten outdated recently and been less effective, I'd say, so I think that's been overdue for a refresh, so it's appreciated Debbie and her team meeting with us to talk through some of those things. And I believe the legislators are going to be taking some of that up. We really only got 2 or 3 weeks left in the session, so coming to a quick close here. But a lot of things on the table that will be very impactful, so we're hopeful that they get addressed well before we end. And honestly, on the property tax issue, a lot of our groups we're kind of hoping they'll maybe delay things. That wouldn't hurt them to kind of look at it over the course of the off season and consider the impacts that a lot of these things have, because there are so many unintended consequences that can happen. Nobody likes paying property taxes. I know you guys know that better than me. You hear about it louder than I do, but it's a slippery slope when you start moving things around in there. So I think they've understood that, and they have been pretty deliberate in their pace on that process, but it will make some major impacts on people. We also had the Nyack Job Expo this past week. They had a record attendance for that. 384 people attended, and then they ran out of registration forms, so they probably had over 400 some, which was great to see. 65 employers took part in that. Jenna from our team helped put that all together, did an awesome job. We've got great feedback, so it was really good to see that participation all the way around. We really appreciated that. We've got the North Iowa Housing Conference coming up. NIACOG, our team, had about 20 folks working on that, but it's going to be a great event. Debbie Durham coming up to be the keynote speaker for that. I highly recommend that if you're able to make it. And June 18th, like I said, we have our annual meeting at the Surf, so a lot of fun stuff coming up.
And Mr. Widman and Stacy Dawn were down to
Yes.
that as
Yep.
well. Right.
Yep, we had city table, the chamber table. We were well represented.
Well represented. Thank you. Just want to recognize Mr. Kerr and Mr. Pluggy with Pins and Play. Appreciate your being here tonight. Good to see you. That's a great place. More cars are there, and I'm sure you'd like to see more cars there, but as I drive by, I check it out. And we have with us tonight Aaron Ruggles, and this is National Library Week, or will be, here is now, yeah, April 6th through April 12th. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Thank you for having me here tonight. I'm here in celebration of National Library Week. It runs April 6th through April 12th. This week highlights the vital role libraries, librarians, and library workers play in transforming lives and strengthening communities. Each day of the week, there's a bit of a theme to go along with it. So I'd like to take a moment and highlight each day and a fun library fact or statistic that goes along with it. So Monday is the Right to Read Day today, a day for readers and advocates and library lovers to take action to protect, defend, and celebrate the right to read. As of 3 p.m. today, we had 108 people in the library. They checked out 157 materials. Since July, we've had over 50,000 checkouts at the library. The most popular title is To Die For, book number 3 in the 620 Man series by David Baldacci. Since January, there's been 21 checkouts on that title. In 2024, the library has saved library users over $1 million by borrowing books from the library and materials as opposed to checking them out. Tuesday, tomorrow is National Library Workers Day. Take a minute to recognize the contributions my staff have made at the library. We're lucky as a team to have the impressive longevity of a couple employees at the library. 2024 and 2023 respectively are a few of longer employees. The longest one, she wouldn't want to be named by name, I don't believe, has been employed at the library since 1991. The library, the staff also does a lot of programming in addition to checking out books. Messy Art Days are one of the more popular programs we have at the library. Things you wouldn't want to clean up at your house, like glitter slime and painting with Legos. Draws about 100 kids to those programs. Our last one was during spring break. Wednesday is National Library Outreach Day. Celebrates librarians who meet the patrons where they are in the community. Myra Diggins, our assistant director, meets the middle school and high school librarian twice a month to do a lunchtime book club with students. We have around 60 participants each month in her outreach program at the middle school and high school. Thursday, April 10th, is Take Actions for Libraries Day, a time to rally and support the library's mission. Two organizations I'd like to call out helping us out at the library, taking action for us, are the Friends of the Library. They provide volunteers and financial support to the library through their ongoing book sale and membership program. They sponsor summer reading every year. Last year we had 400 participants in summer reading. And then the Library Foundation manages gifts and bequests to sustain the library. I'd like to thank them as well. And the trustees of the library appointed by mayor and council help run the library. I'd also like to thank another group in the city, the Parks and Public Works, for taking action for the library. We had, I'm getting ahead of myself. We had a lizard emergency that they helped us out with. I'll get back to that. The Parks and Public Works helps us with moving shelving, installing locks in the restrooms that are handicap accessible, clearing snow so patrons can get into the library safely. They even helped us with our lizard emergency last summer. We had a live reptile exhibit come to the library, and Public Works came through and provided shade for the reptiles. We had over 300 attendees at that program. As you can see, we keep busy at the library. Hopefully this overview shows the city's investment in the library is money well spent, serving the citizens of the community in creative, meaningful, and impactful ways. Thank you, Mayor, Council, for your continued support and for celebrating National Library Week with us.
Great, thank you. Would you introduce your?
Yes, Talitha Allen is here tonight. She is on the foundation and trustee of the library. And then Karen Fick is one of our longer employees at the library. She also runs Mystery Book Club as one of our programs.
Welcome. Pleased that you're here. That library, bar none, is the best public library on the continent. Got to be. Thanks, Jeremy, for helping them out, with that. It's good departments working together. It's a phenomenal, and they make sure that there's something in the paper about every week, and thanks for getting that in there as well. You can't know that it's there unless you tell people that you're there, and I think you do a very, very good job of that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having so many great programs.
Mr. Keefe. Best for last? No.
Like everybody else, been booking for a pay raise there. You look good, Council. I just thought I'd help you out. That's a good job, man. And I want to congratulate Bookie. I call him Bookie. He's on the fire department, too. He does a great job at the fire department as well. I think Doug sent over some numbers. We're looking at 128 calls for February. That's still a high number. It's not quite as high as in January. We're ahead of more than February, but it still is a lot of calls. Interesting one was the semi that went over on the construction site up there. It's lucky it didn't go completely over. We were able to get out there, and the guy was not really hurt that bad, but semi was in kind of a dangerous spot. And I noticed it directed traffic through town quite a bit. There was some quite a congested area out east of town before they got that opened up again. We've been able to assist Mason City on some EMS calls. They come over and help us quite a bit, and we also have been able to go over there and help them on some medical calls that they need some help on. So again, we're working really well back and forth together. We've completed our hazmat refresher class. A gentleman from Buffalo Center came in, taught us a refresher class in our hazmat program, so that our guys are now certified again. We're able to get their hazmat class out of the way. We'll be putting Bud in the water as soon as we get the dock down there. Bud's going in the water. We're doing some work with a little electrical on that, but we should have that ready to go as soon as the dock goes in. It'll go in the water and be on the water, available for anything. We've also got our grass rigs out. I'm sure there's going to be some grass fires here if everybody gets doing some work in some fields. So we have that all put together. They're all ready to go. We've changed a couple things on one of them. We're expecting a new tank for the track ATV coming in later on, so we'll be able to upgrade it. We're going to be using, if you see something strange, in a couple of weeks over behind the fire station, it's a state-owned by the State Fire Marshal's Office. It's a ventilation tool device going to come over there. We're going to get to use a lot of chainsaws. We're going to cut some plywood up and cut some holes in it. It's a roof training aid for ventilation purposes. So if you want to see it, come over and take a look at it. It's sitting in the back behind the fire station. It should help a lot. It'd give our guys, excuse me, but it's pretty hard to train for ventilation unless you've got either an old house you can work on or something like that. So this gives us a chance to get up there, run some chainsaws and cut some holes in some stuff and be safe about it, be close to the ground. We will be starting our campaign for the bronze statue. Jim and I are going down and we're going to be visiting with the chamber a little bit on Wednesday. We're going to start that project. We're going to get it off the ground. They've been here. The company from St. Cloud has been here. They've taken, I don't know what the camera is called, but it's a pretty neat camera. They've taken all kinds of pictures of our model that's going to be that statue out there. They're going to send us hopefully a model we can use for our campaign purposes, so we can show that off to people what it's going to look like. They showed us, the day they were here, they were also in San Antonio, Texas. If you want to get on sometime, get on the website and look up the Purple Heart Memorial in San Antonio, Texas. They did a 3 statue down there where they have a Korean veteran from Vietnam and also a modern day soldier. They're all pretend to be wounded, and they put together, they'll be all tied together in one statue, and it's pretty unbelievable what they did. They used, I think from Fort Snelling, they went to the museum up there and got actual uniforms from Korean War. They got uniforms from Vietnam, and then the modern day military personnel that was there, but they had used some high school kids because they couldn't find anybody small enough to get in all that stuff. But if you get a chance, you got to take a look at it. It's absolutely incredible. They set that in there. They went over with some things they're going to do for us. We're going to be able to get up there and take a look at everything they do at St. Cloud. They'll put the bronze statue in 2026 on September 10th. It won't go any earlier than that. It won't be seen by anybody before that, except the few of us that are going to go to St. Cloud. So it'll be kind of a surprise on September 26th about that. Let's see, we've got 3 new EMS staff, part-time staff. They're already on board over there. Doug's got them working and scheduled already. They've done some training. They've done some ride-alongs. They're all EMT people, and they're going to be able to help out in our staff right now. We've got a recruit campaign also going to be kicking off. We're looking for some recruits. We're 3 down. And we hope to be able to kick off a campaign to get new recruits. So if you know anybody that wants to join, please send them our way. Send them down to City Hall. I'm working really hard on Jacob over there to join the fire department, but he's not looking at me too well there. But so we are looking for new recruits. We aren't as bad. Unfortunately, my hometown in Decorah, they're down 13. So we're down 3. They're down 13 over there, and it's getting harder all the time. So hopefully we're going to put out an ad and do some campaigning to that, get some open house maybe and do some work on that. We've got 3 new exhibits in the museum. If you want to come over, I was able to find location for 40 porcelain fire stations, if you know, 40 of them. A gentleman gave them to us because he didn't know where else to put them, and of course, I made the mistake of saying you can put them in the museum, so I had to find a spot for those. Pat Gilbert, she donated a Rockford, New York dress uniform. It came down in her family. She got the uniform passed down through her and her family, so she came to the fire station with it one day and really was looking for some place to put it. So we were able to put that up in display over there. It's from probably the 1940s, so it's in a display case over there, so it's kind of cool. We got the uniform and hat, pants and shirt up there now, so she was excited to do that. And what else? So I've got some stuff in there for from Matt Miller and Jesse Pate, both old retired firefighters, have come back and they'd be willing to put on some and put some stuff in this museum for us. And we have an exciting speaker coming in 2026. It's not going to be me, but we do have a speaker coming. We hope he's going to be a gentleman. He was a battalion chief, the last one in the World Trade Center. So we hope to get him here. That's if George Bush doesn't, if he turns me down, we're going to go for the firefighter instead. So we're looking at, we contacted Bush, but he's not coming. So anything else? Anything else I can help you with? Thanks, Mayor.
Well done, thank you. Mr. Widman.
Okay, just a couple things here quick. I too wanted to mention North Iowa Day on the Hill. I thought that was a very good meeting we had down there with the state legislatures, and just good to be visible to them and just talk about some of the concerns we have here as a city and also some of the positive things that they've been doing. So I really enjoyed that. That was my first time down there doing the North Iowa Day on the Hill, and I thought it went very well. The other thing is Parks and Rec. If you recall, during budget time, we had put in the budget and talked about adding a seasonal full-time position. And we had advertised for that. We didn't end up getting any good candidates with that. A lot of people were looking for something that's not seasonal, that's permanent full-time. And I know we had those discussions when we were going through the budget, if we couldn't find somebody looking at making that a permanent full-time position. So the request is to turn that position into an additional permanent full-time position in the Parks and Rec department. Right now, it's just a department of 2. We've seen a lot of growth in our parks and in their responsibilities. A lot of the work we're doing down in the surf, there's more to do down there, and just citywide with the different playgrounds and different parks that we have. And so I think it's time to add an additional person in that department, and I just recommend adding one more full-time for them.
This will be primarily in the Parks Department then?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, which is greatly needed, in my
Yes.
opinion. Yeah. Anything else, Jacob?
Nope, that's all.
Any questions for Jacob before I'll ask for a motion on this? Entertain a motion then to approve the request for a Park and Recreation full-time position.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Bennett, seconded by Mark, that we approve the Park and Recreation full-time position. And is there anything, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Is there anything else to come before the council this evening?